Hello. All right. Okay. I think that's how you want. All right. I have the air conditioner on while I get logged in here. Uh, so give me a second here. I'm trying to get logged in. Just give me a second. Oh, it takes a lot to get this thing situated here. I think the quote for today is willpower. The word for the day is willpower. So let me find a quote here while OBS is logging itself in. Uh, hello, Anna? Anna? That might be Anna. Hello, Anna. If that's how you say it. Uh, I hope so. I'm just reading it as is. It looks like Anna, but oh, thank you for the subscribe. Thank you for the like. Yeah, appreciate it. Happy Monday. It's Thursday. I know. It's not to my happy Monday. Here to go. Technically, I did this week. Caught about willpower. You know, I be putting people to sleep and I doze off. Oh my God. Thank you for the engagement. I will fall asleep. I see it out of my look. I got peripheral. I see that engagement down there. I'm not looking at the screen, but I see it out of my peripheral. Thank you for the engagement. Let me go ahead and get me situated over here quick. I only came to see Hunter Biden. It's no shade. It's no shade. And when I tapped in, where's my thumbnail? When I tapped in, I didn't tap in. Let me not say that. I was going to another YouTube channel, a kid's YouTube channel. You do have to have one of those. Um, I'm doing well, thank you. Peace be unto you, my love. Um, you need to have one of them kids channels. Uh, and I was over there, I was trying to go to first of all, I was trying to cook, right? And I was trying to get Koa from hanging on the edge of my rope. He just has this tendency to like hold on to the bottom of it and be swinging. And I'm like, so I can't walk, I can't move, especially when I'm cooking. So I was going to go find Jules. Um, One leg back, one arm back, do it again. Now you, her. Brush your teeth. Um, so I can finish cooking. You know, that's his best friend, child. I put him on the jewels, very early on in his human existence. And so, um, and I was, I gotta scroll to the next channel, and she was streaming it live, the interview that she did with Hunter Biden and Candace. Um, and I believe I tried to screenshot that I got it had 85,000 people watching at that moment. I just screenshotted it and I was like, no, I don't even want to put you because I usually just put it on the headphones and keep it moving. Um, let's see if we can find a good quote about willpower. Willpower is a concentration of force. You gather up all your energy and make a massive thrust forward. Too much. Success is the result of discipline, hard work, and unshakable willpower. I like that one. I do prefer like a just a subtle background. Like the backgrounds be doing too much. People do not lack strength, they lack will. I need willpower. I started telling myself that my will to live a healthy life is stronger than my cravings. Ah, willpower is essential to the accomplishment of anything worthwhile. I don't, it doesn't have a, okay, willpower is a superpower. Uh-oh, I think I got one. Willpower is a superpower. Um, I was, willpower, I thought about the word yesterday. Uh, because I'm still breastfeeding, so I can't partake. Um, and no cannabis at the moment. He is still latched on. So I was thinking about the word willpower, and I was like, "Ooh, you do have to have some willpower just to like, make it through, because you already have 9 months." And then, of course, obviously, it's just he just dragging it. It's dragging, and so I'm like, "Oh, I need some willpower." 'Cause I am so ready to partake, trust me. Oh my good, please roll up. Please. Please. I am ready. That's where X comes in at. I don't know if you know, but that's that's where X comes in at. 'Cause you can partake in X live. She will let you roll up. All right. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on just a second. I always forget something. And so uh, that was what the word that's where willpower come in. I guess I should have like a little backstory for the quote of the day. It's really not a quote. It's really like the word, like a word, or yeah, it's a word, or it might be like a compound word. Um, willpower. I was like, man, I just had to strengthen my willpower to be able to like sustain myself. It's just so expensive. Um, Trying to smoke. It's like a very expensive habit. And so I, I clearly wasn't tripping. Uh-oh. Okay, well you stay. Hold on. Let me see if I can get another one. Um, let's go to take two and then I'll just get take two on there. It's a very expensive habit. That's why I wasn't really tripping. I was like, ooh, she is expensive, honey. Can somebody please open up preview for me? Just go over and get me okay, willpower is a superpower. Willpower is a superpower. Strengthen your willpower. At least that's what it taught me. At least that's what it taught me. Come on, let me open up this. Is that the screenshot or is that? I think that's the screenshot. Yep, that's it. Okay, okay. Let me get me a thumbnail real quick. Uh, and so, hold on. Okay, just move up here because she is doing a lot. Uh, how is how is that? Uh, just making sure I wasn't missing nobody in the chat. Mm, I'm still not even logged in over here. Just trying to get this thumbnail together. Okay, just can you zoom out a little bit, please? Because she is just not getting this frame together. Let's see. Shit. Oh, uh, too funny, too funny, too funny. I get so caught up with these with these screenshots. Keep it. I ain't gonna keep doing it over and over again. If you would stop talking. All right, let's see what I got here. Remember when the first time they say you can't even hum. At least we can listen to music over there on X. We can smoke and listen to music. Speaking of, I've only heard one song from off of Drake's 3 albums. 1. I'm gonna have me a listening party. I'm gonna have to. And the only reason I've only heard 1 song was because Skinbone, he did him a little solo, with I think it was Cheetah Print with Sexyy Red, and I caught that. Was that last night I was logging out? Or this morning when I was logging in? I'm like, "Come on, man. Come on. We're so behind." I'm like, but 3 albums, I ain't heard just but 1 song? I'm trying to get it together. I'm really not in a rush, to be quite honest. 3 albums is ridiculous. Uh, allegedly, 3 albums is ridiculous. Um, but still, I think we were, making history? Is that the word? With these albums? I heard he was breaking records and topping charts and stuff. I was like, "Man, Imma have to go over there get me a Spaces on X and have me a little listening party." I'll probably do that. It's Memorial Day. It's Memorial Weekend, and I'm off Monday, so don't look for me. I'm off Monday. I already put in my little PTO every Thursday, so I'm off Monday. It's Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day. Somebody asked me today, "What's Memorial Day?" Girl, I don't know. Child. Monday off. The banks is closed. The trash is not gonna run. That's the best I can do. That's the best I can do. I'm on 23. I'm on 23. because let me tell you something. When I tapped in, we were at 85,000 live. And so if we, going back, we 450, 458,000. How long was it? Let's go ahead and get started. Hour 49. And I don't have time for be wasting my time. What's up? Okay, blazer. Oh, we got on us a blazer. Let me get this chat out of the way because it's messing with my peripheral. I was leaning. Hold on, let me get situated here. Let me go cut the air off because it is on. I was trying to let me get the thumbs up. I was trying to cool it off while these people were trying to go to sleep. Be too cold for me. Um, remember when the first time I did you? But she said she didn't see the heartbreak in his eyes, in your eyes. Now I'm building bridges. I get over you. I get over. Let me see if I can. Let me go here. Ah. Oh, oh, goodness. That's some earwax draining out of my ear. Okay, I should be on high quality, so I don't know why. Am I on Wi-Fi? I'm on Wi-Fi. Oh my god, thank you guys for the thumbs up. Happy Thursday. Alexa, assalamu alaikum. Is that what it says? Is that how you is that how you spell it? Assalamu alaikum. I think that is how you spell it. I've never seen the spelling before. That's so crazy. Assalamu alaikum. Oh my goodness. I've never seen this spelling before. I'm glad I knew what it said. Let me go get this ear on real quick. Hold on, give me a second. All right, I'm back. Till I had to grab me some water. I drank half the bottle on the way from the kitchen into the living room. I drank like half. And then, of course, I got thirsty again, trying to log in and stuff. And so this is all I had. So I went ahead and grabbed another one. I also had grabbed some grapes. It's green wise though, because um, brand power is important. And then, of course, this is green wise blueberry mini brand power, honey. It's critical. Go. Welcome to the Candace Owens Show. Like, how on earth did this happen? I got to give them a bit of a backstory. So I went to dinner with a fellow podcaster, and we were just talking about interviews. We don't do too many interviews on the show, and he first asked me what was the best interview I ever did, and I said, without question, the USS Liberty survivor, Phil Turney. And then he said, "What would be your top interview that you'd want to do?" And I said, "Oh gosh, we're in such a different time now. Like, I'm just not interested in politics. Like, it would have to be something so different." And then I said, "Actually, Hunter Biden."
I watched your sit down with Andrew Callahan,
Yeah.
and it was kind of the most refreshing interview that I had seen in politics for in a very long time. Gaslit about various things happening. Everyone's trying to hide stuff, and we read a lot of.
Hold on, let me speed it up because what should I? Uh, just a little bit. Let me speed it up just because she already got 149. Um, she be trying to act like she running out of time. Uh, when she be going live, but when she got all the time in the world for an interview, but when she be live, she only got a.
The first time I heard you in your own words, just totally owning your addiction issue.
Hold on, just a second, please, ma'am. Get it together. Okay, hold on. Let me, cause we live. We know.
Also going after Jake Tapper and George Clooney, and when we were kind of expecting the Democrat, like, these are great guys, these guys are amazing. Jake Tapper should, win a Pulitzer. I don't know. And I would just, it wasn't what I was expecting. Is what I would say. So, and then that person just,
Ooh, them grapes. I know. Listen, I'm gonna just let you know ahead of time. Um, it's not me, it's the grapes. I'm shouting out green wines for a reason. Her grapes hit different. Well, these ain't even
story.
the
I
green
already,
one.
I already made the blood right when I got on the phone with you that, like, obviously I'm not going to make you say anything bad about your father because that would just be completely demon to
Make
say
you.
my opinions, my political perspectives. They're already out there. He's your dad, so that is separate from
Thank
my
you.
points.
There's no way to conflict it.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, ma'am, you ain't even gotta say that because excuse me. That's pops. Hell you talking about?
I totally get that. There's a lot to be said about you, and a lot that I guess hasn't been said about your journey. And I also want to start with just one question for the culture: the
Oh.
cocaine that was found at the White House,
Uh-oh. Was it yours?
was it yours?
No, not only was it not mine. No, number one is thank you for having me here. And one of the reasons is to be able to answer these questions. The one thing I am after.
My God, he looked just like his damn daddy. It is so terrifying how much he looked like damn Joe Biden. Look, look. Are we looking at the same person? Are we looking at the same? This is terrifying.
6 years of this. I've been sober since June 1st of 2019. Clean sober. The verifiably so, by the way, and verifiably so by the Bureau of Probation, in which I was drug tested
Oh,
randomly for over the course of 2 years while I went through my trials. But beyond that, is that to directly to your question, I wasn't even there. Not only there, but people have to understand is where that cocaine was found was the visitors entrance underneath that is where visitors come in and they come over from the old executive office building staff to um, go to the Oval or go to the chief of staff's office or to the offices in the West Wing, and it was found in a cubby
mhm.
in right outside of the Situation Room, and it's like no possibility, not even remotely beyond the fact that I wasn't even there. I mean, I spent probably, over the course of 4 years, maybe um, uh, 25 days at the White House, like 25 nights, 30, if I'm being fair. So it's just it was an easy, I'm an easy target, and understandably so.
right?
I mean, I've been, I think, probably the most famous addict and famous person through the grace of God in recovery for 7 years, but we're close to sober. June 1st.
Yeah, I definitely thought you were on drugs while your father was in the White House. I don't know. I think it might have just also been the timing of the laptop coming out and then people just assuming that you were still on drugs. I don't know. That might have been why in
Yeah,
speaking.
no, I think that they purposely conflated. I wrote a book, which came out in April of 2021, in which I did something that very few people I think ever in that are kind of like similarly situated to me do, in which I was 100% frank about the fact that not only was I an addict, not only was I alcoholic, I don't really see the distinction between the two when they're both drugs. I was a crack addict. Like I was a
Bit
degenerate.
different.
She called me a crackhead many times, and the truth of the matter is, I was a crackhead.
Mhm.
And and I say that not to shock people because it's really shocking. Uh, Crack cocaine carries such a stigma to it to begin with.
Mhm,
But I
mhm.
say it because I think that there are so many people. I don't think I know there are so many
Struggle.
people, at any given time, 30 million Americans that are either in active addiction or in recovery. So not a single person that I know that hasn't been impacted by addiction at some level, in some form, personally, or with someone that is 1 degree of separation from it.
And at some point, you have to get yourself to that recovery phase. Everybody has their own time. Trust me. I listen, like he said, everybody either has or knows someone. How ironic that the quote is about willpower. How ironic is that? I was over here thinking about cannabis. Man, I can't wait to at least roll up. That's nothing compared to living with an alcoholic mother. Nothing. Growing up with an alcoholic mother. That's nothing. Oh my goodness. It's nothing. Because let me tell you something. It was, it's not about me today. It's about Hunter.
No one. That I know.
Least of all me.
Yeah, yeah, and part of that, one of the reasons I'm here, the stories that you tell about that in terms of
My family.
your family, and 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 there is where the common ground is
Mm,
for me. I can 100% say this is that a friend of mine uh, said gave me this quote about 2 years ago, and it's become my mantra. Is it? It's Mother Teresa. It was attributed to Mother Teresa. Is if you want to change the world, go home and love your family.
mm.
That's
Oh.
that's my everything now, and part of that is not just the family that you have by blood and birth, but also the community uh, that you're inextricably tied to, and that
Mm.
community.
Uh-oh.
And so, the biggest reason that I wanted to talk to you, beyond the fact, and this is not me blowing smoke, I think that regardless of whether I agree with you, that you're probably the most effective communicator
Mm,
I've ever heard.
Thank you.
mm,
Like,
mm.
it's really driving me pretty crazy. Really, really, really crazy. Yeah. But is that I wanted to talk to you about those things and anything else you want to talk about.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm most interested in the addiction story. And I was saying to you before we got uh
before I started.
Jesus Christ. Mm. Probably should have grabbed two of those muffins. I should have got two of them.
that I noticed when I would cover various topics, whether it was pornography, drugs on my show, drinking, how many men would write and say they were suffering with various things, and yet they don't often speak about um, like how they're quietly suffering, whether it's addiction to pornography, addiction to drugs, and I don't think there are enough conversations about it. And so when I watched that interview of you just laying it out there, something that most people try to hide or they're shameful of, I was like, there actually just needs to be more dialogue about it. I grew up with tons of addicts in my family. I have people in my family who are still addicted, and there is, I think there is a natural anger that people have when
Oh.
they, for some reason, believe, and I think this was part of the anger that even that I had it towards you before I heard you speak about your addiction, is that you sort of think when somebody has money and political connections that somehow removes them um,
Mm.
from going through these sorts of barriers in life. So when I
Right.
grew up, it's like, oh, okay, that are addicted to crack, you have cousins that are doing crack, whatever it is, or experimenting with meth and drugs and those things. And then you see someone that has a life of privilege, and for some reason in your mind you wrongly go, okay, that can happen. And it did happen. Actually, I'd like to hear like how you got addicted. Like what was that
Oh.
story, your path toward addiction?
Nice.
Yeah. So
Nice.
I, thank you. Um,
Nice.
let me talk about that. or asking me about it. I
Yeah.
really mean it. It's one of the things that traps people. I can only speak about myself, but I think that people that are in that are addicts or that are in recovery, also you find out really fast is that you're not as terminally unique as you think you are. Is that and one of the things that uh, uh, that is really important about addicts talking to each other and talking about it is that realization. Because one of the things that traps you in your addiction is shame. And you like me are Catholic, and we have learned that guilt is an appropriate emotion. Guilt is an appropriate response to something when you've done something wrong, and you're supposed to atone for it, and you're supposed to seek forgiveness, whether the forgiveness comes from an individual or not. You're that that is that's the lesson, is that it is in only you're seeking that forgiveness can you release yourself from that guilt. That's appropriate. Shame is not. Shame is just absolutely corrosive. Shame is you telling yourself that you're not worthy, that you're never going to be worthy, that the things that you've done you can never be redeemed from. And I've done horrible things in my addiction in terms of what I did in terms of my relationships and decisions that I made. And more than anything, is just removing myself from being present for the people that love me. Um, and and what happened to me, um, and I really mean this, is that the exposure, not piecemeal, but the total exposure, my entire digital footprint stolen from me, 20-year digital footprint, every text message, every picture, all of the things that you would be ashamed of became front page news for, for 4 years, 5 years, beginning in 2019. And, uh, and it forced me into a choice. And the choice was, do I get out of bed and live or do I die? And it became that much of a dichotomy. And I uh, and I chose to live. It wasn't easy, and maintaining sobriety in that kind of like a pressure cooker um, is often the thing that triggers you. But something broke in me in a good way, which was that I no longer have any fear. I like sitting down with you is to me an opportunity for you to see me as a human being and not Hunter Biden laptop. Yeah. And the pictures that Congressman Green like put up in Congress, or the New York Post. I think I was on the cover of the New York Post in one year more than anybody in the history of the paper, and none of it was good. And but what it's given me is the opportunity to own it all, is to own all of my story without shame or fear. Realizing that I have a community of people out there that I want to be of service to. I really mean that, and so and part of it is by me being able to be honest about it. We were just talking before we started this. Is the hardest thing for any addict to do is not only get honest with the people that they love, but to get honest with themselves. And until they can really see themselves for who they are, all of it, and decide to love themselves, then the cycle is just going to continue. It's just, at least in my experience, that's the truth.
Did he answer the question? Because he is rambling, Lord.
I think one of the things
I know I went tripping. I know I went tripping. I'm like, okay, Hunter, did you answer the question though? Because we wanted to know how you got hooked on crack.
Talk about the first time that you got introduced to it, because that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, I know. I went into all the good
Yeah,
stuff.
actually,
Yeah,
do
yeah.
start with that. Like, how did you actually get introduced? First off, describe
Yeah.
for people who don't know the difference between cocaine and crack, because
Yeah.
crack is
Yeah.
a lot more addictive.
Yeah.
And so, just what is the difference?
I know. I got a lot of heat
It's fantastic.
yeah.
It was fantastic. I was like, well, he's actually very educated on this, and
Well, it's important to me to make the distinction that there's this idea that there's this kind of a secret kind of special enhancement to powder cocaine that makes it into crack, and you have to have some technical degree in order to be able to do that. And let's start all the way at the beginning. I think
Right.
I'm genetically predisposed to be an alcoholic. I do believe there is a genetic piece of it. I do believe that my brain works differently as an addict in terms of the way in which my synapses fire once they're introduced to the dopamine hit and the serotonin increase that occurs because of an introduction of a substance. I believe that I became acclimated and physiologically dependent upon that when I started to drink in earnest when I was in college, in which you can control. And I made it through Georgetown and I went to Jesuit Volunteer Corps for a year, and it's kind of like domestic peace. Well, you know the
Yeah.
JVC. I was JVC for a year after college, and then I went to Yale Law School. Was married, had my oldest daughter when I was a first year law student. Made it through all of that, and made it through my first years of employment, drinking probably more than everybody than most people do, but completely functional. One
Okay.
day I woke up when I was 33 years old to my brother calling me and say, "This has got to stop.
Oh,
Like, you got to stop." And 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 what he meant was is that like a whole weekend was missing, kind of. And and I said, "Okay." And he drove me to the airport, and he put me on a plane in New York, and I flew to a place that was started by Eric Clapton called uh,
Did you hear about the new track?
Crossroads in Antigua. And I went to rehab, and I came out, and directly when I came out, my brother picked me up from the airport, drove me to an AA meeting, walked in with me, DuPont Circle in DC. I met my sponsor at that first meeting that I ever went to, and I stayed clean and sober for about 7 years, and and then I relapsed, and and it was such a mundane, stupid story. I was on a plane by myself. Everything was okay. Things were looking up. It was normal life pressures, but it was all good. And that's the real insidious thing about addiction and alcoholism. It never goes away necessarily. There's always the answer that is being presented to you by the thing that you trust the most, which is your brain. And what it says is, if you don't want to feel this way, whatever
mm,
the way is, or if you want to feel this way even more, I have the answer for you. And I was on a plane by myself, and I had a drink. And that drink in 2010, 7 years almost of sobriety, started a cycle of relapse and recovery and relapse and recovery. It was really hard for me, to be honest, with the people that love me, because I just wanted to hide it. I just wanted it to go away. And I thought, okay, I'll get through this cycle, and I'll sleep it off. Speaking, and that's it. I'm done. And that would last a week, and then it would last 3 months, and then I went back to rehab, and then it became kind of. Then I came back, and I started. I mean, talk about you talk about this all the time. Much love that you do. It was big pharma. You know what I mean? I had shingles, and so somebody prescribed me like 52 oxycodone. Like, I mean, ridiculous. And I started that, and then I started drinking again, and the prescription ran out, and then this cycle just started to happen. And but when my brother died, uh, it all fell apart.
yeah.
Bo and I uh, were and I don't purport that our relationship was unique, or that his loss was greater than my loss of him was greater than anybody else's loss of their brother or someone that they deeply loved. But when my mom and sister and my Bo and I were in that car accident in 1972, um, and we survived, it was the two of us every day,
Right,
for a year and a day apart. We
right.
talked every day. I mean, except when he was in Iraq, I literally probably talked to my brother every day. And and uh, and when Bo died, my marriage fell apart after 20 years, 22 years. Um, by the way, for reasons that marriages fall apart, you know, and but I take a lot of responsibility, and uh, and it just started a really, really dark cycle. In the past, uh, when I would have these relapses, there was always someone in such proximity to me that they would like, that I couldn't escape. I couldn't escape. In this instance, Bo was gone. I right after Bo died, I um, ended up separated from my wife like within a month, and my dad, for the first time in my life, who was my rock, was stuck in his own grief, like deep, deep grief,
Mm.
and I just went down into a hole, and I checked myself into a rehab that year, and came out. Stayed sober for a while, and then relapsed, and then went into a an outpatient program in DC, where I went like 4 hours every day for from 8 to 2, or 6 hours every day. Stay sober, and then I relapsed, and I came back, and they said, "Well, you have to." I admitted to them that I relapsed, and that in this instance, I also used cocaine. And they said, "Well, you have to take a drug test." And I said, "I'm not going to take a drug test. I'm not going to put something on. It's because it's not protected by HIPAA in a rehab scenario, which is crazy, right?"
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, long story short, They said, "You can't come back in unless you take the drug test." And I said, "I'm not taking the drug test. I'm going through a divorce. It's not protected by HIPAA. It will become public. I don't want to do this to my family." Like I'm telling you, I used cocaine and I drank. Is that not good enough? Come back. And they said no. For whatever reason, I'm not blaming them. This is not their fault. I walked out and I knew Lincoln Park was a kind of open air drug market. I saw a woman that was kind of famous in the area since I had been in college, literally for 20 years that I would see in the streets around, DC in that area where I worked for a long time. And I went up to her and I said, "Can I get some crack?"
Oh,
And I think it was basically, I said, "Can you help me commit suicide?" I mean, I don't think I know that now in looking back, it was the coward's way. And I really mean that. I
Right.
was a coward. And
Mm.
I didn't go and just do it. I said, "Let me do it this way and really, really, really drag everybody down with me along the way.
Oh,
Let,
wow.
let me figure out a way not only to kill myself, but to maybe kill my dad, you know, really hurt my family,
Mm.
particularly my three daughters who like adore me and I adore like just the fact. And I smoke crack. And the difference between crack cocaine and
Right.
powder cocaine is
Right.
this. I really truly do not want to give a roadmap for people to be able to do this because I swear to God, it'll kill you. But it's sodium bicarbonate, which is big soda. E. That's it. That's all. That is the entire difference of it.
Sodium, water, and E. Um, ether, right? Isn't E ether? Isn't that the E the E?
Which allows it to be ingested through a smoking. And the combination of those things makes it so that it affects your physiology much faster than it would be if you just use powder cocaine through your nose or in any other form other than intravenously. And it also allows you to ingest more faster than you could possibly ever ingest by sniffing cocaine up your nose. The combination of that, the combination of combustion, ritual, and the ritual meaning the way in which you have to,
Right.
I mean, I can still feel my
Smoke it.
hands doing it,
Mhm.
is, becomes this ritualistic thing with the combination of combustion, which is, and
You
you learn,
ingest.
I mean, if you really study things about addiction, is these kind of key components of oral fixation and things like that. It just becomes the most ungodly addiction that you can possibly imagine to the point where I was smoking crack. I mean, literally, I was either looking for or smoking or recovery, not even recovering. You don't recover. You just go find more for close to a 2 year period of time.
oh,
And it took me to places, I wrote all about it and I got made fun of about it. And, people think that, when I wrote my book, like, clawing through the carpet and crack cocaine, Parmesan cheese. And it was a real laugh line, but anybody that's ever been like that, they don't laugh. It's devastating.
Right.
Think that you were that person.
mhm.
You can see yourself doing it. Just devastating.
Right.
And addiction so often is this, is people not only, they can't admit that.
Mm.
They can't even admit it to themselves. They block it out. They
Mm.
go, they get 30 days clean. They come out, they go back into the same exact situation that they were in before. And they think, I'm just not going to do it again. I'm just going to stay, like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. And what will come up is that I'll wake up in the morning and they'll remember
If you don't work in IT,
Uh,
that time in the motel with the person, the prostitute that brought you the drugs
uh-oh.
and that just stole your wallet and
Ooh.
all your and all your drugs and everything. And you had to, you were clawing through carpet to see if there was anything there. And you smoke whatever white that you found on the ground. Like it's the shame is thinking of yourself like that, regardless of who you are, regardless of where you came from, whether you're in the United States
Right.
or it doesn't matter. And they don't admit that to themselves. They don't admit it to anyone around them. Don't ever say it. And you know what happens? They never lose it. And it sits like right here, like back of your head, and it pops up. And you just feel so disgusted with yourself that your brain immediately tells you, regardless of how far away you are from a drink or a drug, like, I know the way not to feel this way. I know
Yeah.
right here.
Either.
Keep feeling this way. You need to take a drink.
mm,
That's always how it starts. I mean, alcohol is the most dangerous drug in the world, um, uh, just by virtue of the amount of destruction and devastation that comes personally into the people around are alcoholics. And I don't find any difference between being an addict and an alcoholic.
Mm, 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 mm.
And that's where it starts. And that's where it started for me. That was until I met Melissa and got clean and sober, and it's been so almost 7 years now. All right, you guys. Some moments change everything, and for a woman,
Lord, we thank you for that, Hunter. To keep it so candid. He need to be over there on Soft White Underbelly. 'Cause Mark, I ain't been over there in Mark in a
moments
minute.
realize like you're going through this and you're to decide what your father does for a living. And I think that's probably why people separated as well too, because like I said, there's this idea of what a politician's family is supposed to be. And you obviously are because I genuinely understand what those sorts of addictions do. I don't think people realize you're just not even yourself. Like you're like it's like a demon, as the best way to say it. And maybe I'm taking a Catholic take on this, but like it's like a full demonic possession when you're in the throes of these drugs. And I mean, this was actually a great benefit of A&E doing intervention because people could really see these moments where people will choose the drug over their family. They will choose the drug over their kids. They will choose, they'll choose the drug over literally anything. And for people who, and I actually tend to agree with you that I've wondered myself if there's something genetic because I'm not wired that way. Or maybe I just haven't found the drug that would do that to me. But like I would say that like I just never been, never had something and was like, oh, I just need to have that again or want it again. And I've seen friends that they have something once and they're like,
Willpower. That's called willpower.
want to do this every second. And I go, that's very interesting. Like it's almost like you're
Oh, I totally.
made of something different.
I'm certain of that, right? And the science is certain of that. Anyways, I mean, we all can. I think that we all can um, associate with, understand addiction at more or less devastating levels. So, for instance, where's your phone? I mean, you basically have a pack of heroin.
Right.
We all do in our
Hmm.
pocket,
Yeah.
constantly giving us that dopamine. Which, by the way, we can get to talking about that. That we are not nearly as divided of people as we think that we are. That bag of heroin in everybody's pocket is feeding them a lot of that division. But is so we can all kind of understand the compulsion to do things that aren't that clearly aren't benefiting us, like staying up until 3 o'clock in the morning and going through your for you page on TikTok. Um, every mother, father can watch their teenager do that and go, God, this is awful, and I'm going to take his phone away, and then they turn back to their phone and they they start going through the phone, like, and I'm I am not any better. So we can kind of all understand that compulsion. It's when the compulsion becomes just so the blast radius continues to grow.
Mm.
So the difference between being a uh, addicted to your phone and being addicted to crack cocaine, I'm not saying are the same, but at least we can kind of get a little bit of an understanding of the physiology of that, of the way in which the brain actually works. Um, but
I'm trying to see if I spelled that word right. Ooh, she got some quotes. Just give me a second. I'm trying to he giving me do you see how many times he done said physiology? These quotes are paragraphs. Physiology has at last gained control over the nerves which stimulate the gastric glands, the pancreas. Who said that? Ivan Pavlov. I just went like a simple quote though. Like, let me hold on. Give me a second. Let me see. Willpower isn't Go back to quote about physiology. Hold on. We gain wisdom about anatomy and physiology and biology and examining the person with disease. We gain wisdom about life. I don't want no paragraph. I remember being in strong physics, physiology, and biology class. I had to find the interconnection of the brain together with my physiology. I remember being in strong physics. I've never taken physics, but I have taken anatomy and physiology. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. Anatomy is to physiology as geography is to history. It describes the theater of events. Please. Who is that? Jean Farrell? Come on. I just needed a quote, a good one. Um, and I almost forgot. It wasn't until I saw the quote that was talking about anatomy and physiology, and I was like, oh, that is physiology. That is physiology. I took anatomy and physiology. That was when I was in college trying to become a clinical lab tech. I had to, it was really chemistry too that just kind of like made me throw in the towel.
Yeah.
Everybody has the micro.
So you can see the micro. And but I think one of the reasons that why people are so like shocked by my story, right? And by the way, and we're able to conflate. If the New York Post every day for 6 years uh, runs a picture on on online. I mean, I think they literally at one point did like 1.5 stories of me a day for an entire 18-month period. Okay. And each, it didn't matter what the subject was. It was a picture of me naked
The prostitute.
with whatever and with a crack pipe in my lips. But what like so I don't get mad at people when they go, like, was that your cocaine? Like, well, number one, you know the White House. It's like it just doesn't make any sense. I had 7 Secret Service agents with me at any given time, everywhere I went. The idea that I was in the Situation Room and would decide to drop. I
Yeah.
mean that. But beyond that silliness is um is I don't blame people for not realizing that I have worked my effing ass
Respect.
off. I mean, in this environment, the proudest thing that I've ever done is stay clean and sober
Mm.
through all of that. Every piece of it, right? Both the trials, through the accusations, through the, Alexander Gallups and Konstantin Kuliks and lead harnesses and Rudy's and Steve Bannon's and
Oh,
all of that.
not Rudy's.
It's purely because of the love of the people around me and my willingness to own it all. I'm sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
And you're not taking that away from me.
Right.
No, and by the way, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
The realization at one point is that you can try.
Mm.
I have no fear, no fear, and that doesn't, and that's why I'm here more than anything is because I like I don't I probably I'm certain that we disagree on a lot of stuff, but there used to be a time, Candace, where you and I could sit down together and disagree about tax policy and disagree about the Catholic Church's view on abortion, or disagree with whatever the subject may be, and still be able to go have a meal together.
Right. I talk about that often on my show. Like back when I was left leaning in college, my best friend was Republican conservative. Like it wasn't so at each other's throats and hating each other and wanting to destroy one another. And you kind of see the good and the bad and go, well, this is why I have this perspective, and perspectives could change, and that was allowed too. I think about what it was that, just revisiting what made a lot of people, including myself, so angry about you. Or I guess it wasn't really about you. It was the gaslighting. It was the letter that came from people saying it was Russian propaganda.
Mm.
That's what is driving us crazy about the Epstein files right now. Ironically, to the collapse of the MAGA support is we gaslit. And to be fair, it wasn't you. That's why it was so refreshing. You were like, "Yes, I had a crack addiction. This is me. I did this. I was with hookers." But you weren't speaking for you, and there were literally a bunch of people that were coming out and saying, "This is not real." And that is the most infuriating thing, because everyone's average. Everyone can connect with addiction. Everyone can have this conversation. Actually, if you would come out, and I probably in that environment, obviously, maybe there would have been a different result because we were at each other's throats. But that is what made people say, nope, never smoked crack. It wasn't real. The laptop is Russian propaganda. Like, guys, what is this?
By the way, is that here's the problem: is that Steve Bannon saved and Rick Giuliani saved the quote unquote laptop, which by the way is bullshit. If we can agree on that gaslighting, I will agree on the gaslighting of this. Is that there was never a quote unquote laptop. There was a hard drive
Okay.
of stolen and hacked material, wherever it came from, whether it came from a Delaware repair shop or whether it came, like Lev Parnas says, from Dmitry Firtash, who was trying to sell a hard drive, Hunter Biden's, in Ukraine. That they were looking for before the laptop repair shop guy was ever the twinkle in the eye. Just go back and look at the record. Okay. So here's the thing:
Oh.
is you're absolutely right. And and this is like the freedom of being able to say this. It's like, yeah, they should have let me go out and vote.
Yeah.
But it was 2 weeks before the campaign, and then and then the election was over. Steve Bannon goes on and with his buddy Gao, the Chinese billionaire that's now in prison, and that is like a Chinese spy or whatever, where he got arrested on his boat and all that crap. Is it? I mean, there is a go listen to it. Go listen to the recorded conversation in which they say, like, the laptop, like we got them, we like so we collected all the salacious pictures and we put them out there, and then Rudy went out and stood on the steps of the Newcastle County Courthouse with Bernie Carey and said this contains child exploitation, like pure I mean pure bullshit, just bullshit. So on both sides you have this reaction, which I don't think was necessarily a coordinated reaction in the sense that what do you do in 2 weeks? And so they come up with this and they say, and I don't get to go out and say, no, I was. But you know what I did? I said, come April, I write a book and I tell everybody I was addicted to crack. And here's my story. And here's what happened. And here is all of the rooms that no one would ever want to admit to being in that I was in. And and it was like a blip on the radar because everybody was now fighting about whether there was kind of a suppressed story on Twitter and whether there was a this gas thing from. And by the way, I am not here to defend any of
But
the
then it
people.
started like the political machine where they're like, we have 2 weeks to go to the election. We're going to do this denial, because we can't afford this right now, essentially. And then we're going to table this, make it past these 2 weeks. And then by that time, first and foremost,
by the way,
the other
yeah,
won,
yeah,
right? So, and so people are angry. They feel like the election's been stolen and that there was this entire collusion to cover a laptop, which if it was on the other side, they may have done too. This is what DC is, it's politics. But that is where I think the anger came from. And it was just like,
I got it.
how dare you gaslight us? And then people then start making you this focal point of
It never
like,
had anything to do with me.
right, it was
And
bigger than you knowing
you know what the laptop?
that you were a crackhead.
There you go.
You
By the
were
way,
keeping the throws of addiction.
bribery and all the other things that they investigated up and down during the Trump
Uh-oh.
wait, Trump administration with a Trump appointed U.S. attorney, with the Trump appointed U.S. attorney, that's the only U.S. attorney in the country to stay on and continue to prosecute me, who then became special counsel after I got a plea deal because I paid my taxes late. I paid them with penalties and interest, and I owned a gun for 11 days while they say I was addicted and check that box. That's it. Everybody has all the information. It's not like the Department of Justice has my digital footprint, every text message, every email. And there's not a single one in which you find that would in any way supports the really serious accusations of enriching my father, enriching himself somehow, or none of it. None of it's there. I own whatever you want to call it. I own the laptop. Come, you know what? We can go through it together if you're willing to like avert your eyes to the tragedy of addiction. I mean, just the
Mm.
absolute tragedy of it. But man, oh man, we have not. There's no space for that in discourse anymore. There's no space for the nuance of, well, that was addiction. That wasn't corruption.
Mm.
You know, I did not do any business through entire 4 years. I became a painter. You know why I became a painter? Because it literally saved my life. I painted my whole life. And Melissa instinctively knew that I literally needed recovery like 12 hours a day. Like just, like to be able to focus on not the crushing weight of the consequences of years of addiction. And so I just sat and I painted and I painted and I painted. And I decided to have a show in a gallery and, and offer my paintings for sale.
Sure.
And New York Post comes out and says, Hunter Biden's selling his paintings for $500,000. I've never sold a painting nor offered a painting for $500,000 in my friggin' life. And by the way, everybody knows this because every painting that I sold, everybody that bought a painting had to pay about $250,000 to defend themselves before an impeachment. Go read the transcripts, people under oath. But regardless, is the laptop absolutely its cultural touchstone? It was like it embodied the Biden crime family. And if you wanted to be able to believe that, not wanted to be able to believe that, if you believe that because you're being told that by people that you trust that told you that your election was stolen, that your democracy was thwarted, that the process was unfair, is that all you had to do, and I get this, is look at the pictures. It doesn't look like a good guy to me.
Right.
He
Because you
looks
weren't a good guy in the
awful.
pictures.
No,
Yeah.
just looks like in a motel.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they come out and like they're saying, oh, like this, like I admit it all. Not only admit it all, I own it all. I will own everything The worst of it, all of it.
And then being like I mean now in retrospect and things have changed. I mean times have changed. Like I said, I was one of the chief people that was really angry about it, and it did.
Yeah.
That was the exact reason why when I re-examine it, it was the gaslighting. It's the same reason why I'm angry with Trump over the Epstein thing. It's like I can't come back from media gaslighting. The Trump thing is worse because it came from his own mouth. The gaslighting, so it wasn't like
Yeah.
people trying to cover it up. It was like Trump being like, "What Epstein files? Are we still talking about the Epstein files?" And so, but then things kind of changed. I think with time also because was very just definitely says close with Don Jr. Traveled a lot with him through the Hunter Biden laptop scandal. We talked about it, this corruption, da da da. And we ignited all these photos coming out. And then we get whatever this, Trump family is now, and it's a historian that wrote on exactly how I feel, which is I wish I could go back to the days where I thought like Hunter Biden's art was the most corrupt deal that was done in politics, and now we're going okay. We stood behind Trump. We fought. We shared the photos of Hunter Biden to the extent that we could, and now we have their family engaged in so many corrupt deals, the meme coins, the taking advantage of people. And you go, okay, well, what we actually have is DC is corrupt, politics is corrupt, and I think it is kind of a unifying point. Not to excuse, the gaslighting of people for 2 weeks, which make people super angry. But I do think it's just a different time where people are kind of going back and examining. And I feel actually terrible realizing that you were finally clean, and then it's just this humiliation ritual over and over and over again
Yeah.
of people putting everything out there and not realizing also your kids are facing this consequence as well, which people do not think about a lot of times when they publish stories. Like I even was reticent and didn't cover the Chrissy Nome thing because the first thing that came to my mind
The kids.
these are kids. Like I'm like, these are kids that are about to go to college. Like, and so why are they doing this? Because she's in politics, right? And so this becomes they don't think about the children. And yeah, I mean, I think now that I have
Yeah.
kids too, I think there's just like, wow, they don't sign up for what I do for podcasting. Kids don't sign up for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Number one, though, kids are way more resilient than you think. They're so much tougher. And I know my girls, I, like, got to, and they love me and deeply, and I can 100% accept that love now and return it with everything that I have to offer. But you're, you know, part of what you're describing is politics in memoriam, part of it, but something's changed in this. There is a meanness, um, a willingness to adopt uh, very, very un-American tactics
Mm,
uh, against our opponents because it could become a zero-sum game. It's not just that I disagree with you; it's you need to be punished.
mm.
You need to be punished for what you believe. There's this incredible show. I really want to meet them one day. I don't know if you listened to it. It's called The Necessary Conversation. Have you listened to that? Incredible. It's a brother and a sister who are progressives. One lives in LA and like one lives in owns a bakery. His sister and a mom and dad. And they are ultra MAGA. I think they were like in, you know, Missouri somewhere. And I mean like, don't take their caps off. Trump literally can do no wrong. He's playing 4D chess on the Epstein thing. I know he said no war in Iran, but you know, he must have a reason for it, and you can't convince. Like literally, but they have this conversation.
Why are you paying $80?
And they have real issues with each other. Like the daughter gets really mad at dad. Like, Dad, you were a jerk to us when we were kids. You made me. But then she has this conversation with her mom who loves animals and like taught her empathy. And they would adopt all, these animals. And they would, you find out like her dad taught, or coached all of their little league games. And she was a softball player. And if a kid couldn't like afford the uniform, but dad would quietly go out and buy the uniform. And he's awful on this thing, by the way. He's and like in terms of the way that he speaks and speaks to them like tough and I don't give a shit and drop a bomb on them kind of thing.
Get to the
But it's not
point.
is that before that's a normal family. That's a thing. Before you and I could meet at a restaurant in Georgetown and your husband and my wife and we could have dinner together and like with Tucker. I knew Tucker. You know what I mean? And like you could have dinner together and think that what Tucker was saying was crazy. And I totally don't agree with, half the stuff. But you know what it didn't mean? It didn't mean that I thought that he should be tried for treason and executed. And that's what happened to me. And I mean that not figuratively. I mean it literally. That's what people were saying. And that's what people of words that were coming out of the mouth. And I'm paraphrasing of people like I like Steve Bannon and
Mm,
people like Rudy Giuliani, people of authority, and it changes everything. Is how can you even have a discussion? For instance, how could I go out and talk about? Uh, how could I respond? Was that cocaine mine? Like, what do you want? You want me to take a drug test? Because I'm taking a drug test almost weekly for the Department of Corrections and probation. I have a probation officer. I'm on release, on field trial. But what do you do? Is that the statement that you make to the New York Post? It's impossible. It becomes impossible. But what do you do? Realize this, and I don't know if you feel this way in your own life. Is that you know what the real problem is? It's not out there. It's not that person. If I could just get Steve Bannon to the truth, if I could just get Rudy Giuliani to stop lying about me, if I could just get Konstantin Kulak to say that he wrote the word, if I, like, it's not there. You realize in order to survive, it's all inside. Every single piece of it is about figuring out how to love yourself, not live in that shame, and in order for you to be able to be of service first, or to Melissa, like return the beautiful thing that she gave me, which was a chance that to be of service to my dad, to return the unconditional love, which is not love without consequences, not love without accountability. It's just knowing that no matter what, even through the consequences and being held accountable, that that person still loves him.
mm.
All right, you guys.
That's unconditional love. It is, I mean, he looks so much like Joe. It is scary.
I
Jesus.
think that was also what came across in your interview with Andrew Callahan, where after I watched it, I think it sort of edited my opinion about that relationship between your dad because I think since the laptop scandal, in my mind, it was I guess a bit cartoonish, where it was like, well, you can do whatever you want. Your head's no crack. We're just powerful. We'll cover it. We'll do it. Like that's like whatever. We've had so much power, we've acquired so much power. Then when I sort of saw you really defending your dad over this George Clooney thing, I was like, okay, this is just a normal father son relationship. Like people can't apply that for some reason when you're talking about a president. Or somebody that has access to power, but he just loves his dad, and this is the way any normal person would defend their dad if they said something about your father, if they said something about your son. Like this is so normal that I think that's what was a bit of like pressing for me. I was like, this is very normal dynamic. He doesn't care if Jake Tapper's on his side. He doesn't care if George Clooney is on his side. That's his dad that you're talking about, and he's having a natural reaction that I would have if someone was talking about my dad, my grandparents, my sister, my cousin, even when they do something wrong. By the way, like it's like okay, no, but like that's my family member who did something wrong, so you have no right, and I will breathe fire on someone, and that's kind of and you're right. Now it's getting dirtier. The games people are playing
Fight.
is about wanting to feel unsafe. And I think that is something that is so new
Yeah.
when you have people posting your address, posting where you are, knowing that you have children. And yeah, I really do. And it is over perspective. Like for me, it was me changing my mind on Israel. And suddenly I'm getting the New York Post treatment. And I'm getting all of these people coming after me. And I'm going, this is my perspective. You're welcome to try to debate me on why I feel the way I feel about what just because I have two eyes about what's happening in Gaza. But to do these tactics where you're trying to destroy people is that feels very, very new to me.
Yeah, it's let's be honest, not let's be, I hate that phrase. Okay. I got it from my perspective is this. I know where that started. And that started when Donald Trump from rally stages started the Where's Hunter or yell, Where's Hunter? Call and response crowds.
Mm,
And then they printed t-shirts and then they made hats and then they made mugs. Where's Hunter? And then they showed up my door. I didn't have any security. I didn't have anybody. I can't afford that in my life, particularly at that time. And they literally showed up at my door with bullhorns and mega hats and on the direct. And the way that they got there is the New York Post published on the front page on its cover an aerial view of my home with the address, and then in the things, and if you stand here at this, on this part of the street, you can see, and there are floor to ceiling windows, and so they showed up.
Wow.
And Melissa was what 6 months pregnant at the time. She got in the car. And she was alone at the time, and sped off. And they followed her, and they ran her off the road. She panicked, and then she got they did it again. And they surrounded her, and this is like a magic. That's new, man.
right. Yeah, that is that harassment hit different in well, whenever this was, but oh my goodness. 6 months pregnant, man, man, man.
Like,
Ooh.
so, like before I sat down, I heard where you live, what your the level of security that you have or didn't have, and what your perimeter of your property is like. How the hell do I? How is that even remotely safe?
Right.
Because you have people who now you're you basically spoke your truth and they decided that you cannot exist, and so they're I don't know what's going to happen, but for some reason I think it's appropriate for me to say tell you what Candace's address is, who lives there, and the level of security.
Was one of the most. It was so obvious what he was doing.
They did have to edit that out now. We can do all them other cuss words, but we can't do the F-bomb, Hunter, please. Look what he's saying. Look what he's finna say. Ooh, somebody just told me I need my cousin. Look, we had to edit that out. Beep. We had to go back, listen, and find it.
It was no, it was like seriously, that to me was like it's a declaration of war. Like they know I homeschool my kids, they know, and he's describing the security apparatus, and he's doing it in this rant, trying to be impassioned about the fact that I don't support Israel or I don't support whatever his motivation was. There was zero reason that you would be describing the perimeter of my house outside of wanting someone to get harmed. And like I first of all, like I'm not like Tucker Carlson, and I say this to people all the time. That's why I get so worried because when Tucker gets accosted in public, he just has this like total happy warrior demeanor. I will claw someone's eyes out for my kids. I am not the property to try. We will shoot you. I will shoot you and I will kill you and I will happily go to prison. But before you have one opportunity to even make, I'm not even gonna think about what you're gonna hurt my kids. And that's me. That's just me. And I've said it over and over in my podcast. I will smile in my mugshot, okay, because I did the right thing and I have no qualms about that. So when he did that, I was like, okay, this little beanie boy, okay, little beanie boy, I see exactly what you're doing. The whole world sees what you're doing, and you are doing something because you want my children to get harmed. And then if something happens to them, you're going to go, well, I don't know how that happened. As I was describing the perimeter of her home and talking about what her security is, which was inaccurate.
Kids, but that's like what are we even talking about? That's exactly why they do it. Is that even if the chance is this small, the reason that they do it is exactly that is to make you really afraid. Not for yourself.
Who did that? I'm lost. It be stuff going on over the X that I be like out of the loop. And so I'm so confused as to who did that. Like who posted all her information, all her home perimeter and security details and all that. They're obsessed.
For your four kids,
Obsessed.
the people that work around you. It's like and by the way, I'll tell you, is that I have the same approach that I think Tucker has to it, which is, and I don't know, which is basically like I can handle, like I can diffuse the situation. Like, Melissa, people kill you,
Yeah, I'll kill you and I'll ask questions later.
and she did exactly the same. And you know what really worries me is that is that
Yeah,
is all of a sudden we're all talking about violence,
exactly.
violence,
Look,
but
yeah,
not yours. And
right,
then they like, oh, you're gaslighting us. You know,
right,
you're fine.
right.
You this, that, you can
No,
it's bullshit. You
right.
see what yeah,
I mean,
Don't talk about Charlie Kirk.
you're talking
Charlie,
about.
he had a whole security apparatus.
Yeah.
We still don't know what happened to Charlie Kirk. There's zero interest. That's another thing that just completely for me was like done with Trump whatsoever. Like, I mean, there's just no way for someone who came from the inside and watched the work that Charlie did to get these people elected. Don Jr. was like a brother to Charlie, literally like a brother to him.
Yeah.
And to see the Trump brothers, to see Donald Trump himself, Cash Patel, who Charlie pushed for him to lead the FBI, had him on his podcast. JD Vance, like came out of nowhere. Charlie was like not sleeping to make that happen, and to see all of these people have zero interest in the obvious holes in the story, even if ultimately the holes get filled and there's a picture that makes sense, which I put that at 0% chance. But let's just, the fact that they have zero interest and they're just accepting the narrative, like what this has done to me, I've said this, I'm just done with politics. I'm just done with politics because I can't even begin to comprehend it. And again, that element of gaslighting that's happening here, where they're pretending that the people who are noticing that none of this is making sense are the crazy ones, and everyone else who's like, no, turn the chapter a week later, it's all solved, and this is how it went down, and none of it makes sense, but just accepts this slop. It is the most infuriating thing, and it's just fully removed the scales in my eyes, and I've stopped with this left versus right, Democrat versus Republican. I'm like, this is sheer evil versus good.
By the way,
This is like pure evil.
exactly.
Like I'm like,
Exactly. It is
Look at these two.
good evil.
yeah.
Ooh,
It is they have torn the mask off of this.
mm.
I said to you before, is that I pray to God that by the end of this, that you think of me as a friend, because if anything ever happened to me, I want you. You was came up. You face. Oh my God.
It's not happening.
asking questions for someone who is like a brother to you. It's like, what the F are you talking about?
That's the
What are you
gas.
talking about? You're coming from someone who you've attacked and politically, had all of your criticism, which I have no problem with, and we disagree on so many things. But I listen to you and I go, right on. Like, like you want to figure out why they don't want to let the
Right.
Trump standing on at his stage at his inauguration and look behind him.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Every single person.
ooh, ooh.
It's crazy. Policy.
Now he said, "Look behind him and look at everybody front and center." Ooh, Hunter.
All of these things. It's like,
Look,
okay.
look.
By the way, like I probably shouldn't.
I sped it up because of Hunter. He think fast, but he talks slow, and so that's where he had that 5-second delay. Um, that I'm gonna go back over there. I'll probably end up finish watching Sean Ryan and Joe over the weekend. I have to put them in my ear, and I have to go. I be having to do something. I be washing the dishes, doing laundry. You know what I mean? Cleaning up, doing something. I can't 5 out 5. I think I only got like 45 minutes in.
Anyway, my point is,
Look,
yeah, it's like when is it? When are people going to kind of
he
wake up
sped up.
to the fact? And it's not left or right.
What I got him
It's
at
really, really
1.25, and that's nothing. He talking normal.
that impact us all, and they make us think
Look,
that because you and I disagree
don't he
on
sound normal?
the graduated tax rate or some social issue, is that we are sworn enemies. I mean, not just like sworn enemies. That I deserve violence.
And I could. It does seem like both sides have woken up without question. Audience is now split, and I still say what I believe. I haven't changed my position on abortion. I'm Catholic. I have, there's nothing that has changed. I think they're just hearing me for the first time, and I do think there was something about the Charlie Kirk assassination that everyone just sort of looked up. We just sort of all looked up at the machine and was like, "Wait a second, what is this?" They expected cash money. Wow, this is going to be solved in the clearest way possible because the entire political apparatus that has the power in the Department of Justice is in the hands of Charlie Kirk's friends. Like that was how I felt, right? This is it. Oh, whoever did this is never going to get away with it because these are Charlie's friends. And what did we get? Charlie can get these people. That's exactly right. Led a youth revolution to get these people elected in power. He was ride or die to
Level of disloyalty or fear. I don't know what it is.
disloyalty.
Is
Loyalty may be guided by fear, but it's
so
it's disturbing. And I cannot forgive Trump, the Trump family, uh, what they have done or what they have not done for Charlie post death. Yeah, yeah. And I'm full on. I'm like, call me a conspiracy. I'm like you, where I'm like, oh, that. What is the shame tactic of the day? You're calling me a conspiracy theorist. Great. I'm like, you'd be a fool to believe the stuff that they're telling us today. The stories they're telling us. I mean, it is something that is just so disturbing. And I think that the Charlie assassination has just so crazy. Like, cause he was so Republican conservative, but I think it's brought people together in a productive way.
Yeah. Look. I'm here, and you're here, and the I really think that we're not unique. I think we're very, very kind of emblematic. Is that like I'm let's put the past, not behind us. Like I'll explain anything you want. I'll talk about anything that you want to talk about that you still have questions about, or that anybody is it. But like this isn't right.
Ooh,
This what
ooh,
we're witnessing right now
ooh,
is not right. The
ooh,
level of corruption, the
ooh,
obfuscation, the I mean, whether it's Butler or Charlie,
ooh.
these things that it's just not right. And I mean, it's so glaringly not right. It's almost as if saying,
F
like,
you.
F you.
They're not even
I don't
trying.
care.
We aren't
You
even
know
getting
what?
good psyops anymore, and that's why I keep saying I'm like, it's
Yeah.
so disrespectful that we're not even getting good psyops anymore. Like we're supposed to believe he survived four. When we got four assassination attempts, the
Yeah.
first president that's ever survived four assassination attempts. They lie to us about things and make a big deal, and then they make it want to, it's going to go away. They're going to keep pretending and telling us that this is a totally normal being widow. Okay, no one's buying that. Like that, something's just not right here. Everyone can see that this is not how you would react to your husband being shot, and this sort of just I'm fine. And I like 2 weeks later, I fully accept the narrative. No interest in anything else. It's over. Let's close it. I forgive him.
Forgive him.
You're asking us to abandon our common sense and our humanity is what you're asking us to do, and that kind of seems like where we're at. Like they're insisting on this, and I'm going, where is this going to go? Because we're not doing the thing they want us to do. Like they're just constantly giving us slop all the time. I mean, even the recent White House course theater to it after, so much theater, and now it's kind of okay. Secret Service maybe shoot each other, and we're just going to kind of quietly move on. But Trump needs a ballroom. Like that's a normal reaction. Hey, there's a shooting duck. Hey, well, we better get that ballroom.
By the way, it's going to cost $1 billion now. And by the way, it's not from donors. And by the way, we're going to do it. Like it's just the constant. Like talk about gaslighting.
It's been this has been just
Yeah.
this, and we're not even. Are we even a year into Trump's second
Yeah.
term? A little over a year and a second. I don't think this is over 4 years of just being gaslit every 5 seconds and told that, but MAGA, literally MAGA, is not MAGA anymore. And what was actually never Trump, which was actually pro Hillary Clinton, if you think about it, that's now MAGA. It's literally people who have been against Trump the entire time who are lecturing us about this stuff, like the Mark Levins and the Ben Shapiro's, and like we're MAGA, and the Laura Loomers, like, we're MAGA now. Okay, great, then I'm not MAGA. Like I've never agreed with these people. I am opposed to people's ideas. I am opposed to unleashing an actual lunatic who has had to be Baker acted and put on psych 50 by her own parents who fear her. I'm opposed to that actually on the population.
That person's going to get 5150. What are you talking about? What's 5150?
It's like telling us this is bad, like this is what we do, and so it's been a challenging time because you do have to have like the humility to admit that I'm quite embarrassed
Man
of
is
it.
the president of the United. If you ever.
Jeez. Wedge pillows. Oh, wow. Wow. I'm a sucker for a pillow. Oh my goodness. Look at her. She got a little for your phone. Oh my goodness. And she got all these colors. And she cut the most I've paid for a pillow is $40. 39.99. That's the most I've paid for a pillow. That was with Home Depot. And it was square. I still have it and it is amazing. But $149 is crazy. That's crazy. Not really, but it kind of is. She got Apple Pay, she got PayPal, and then of course all the visas, American Express, Mastercard, and of course Visa. And that's just for one, but you do save some if you get two. And then she has like different sizes. So that's a small, ooh, medium, 179. And then of course we got the large, 240. Ooh, I this could replace like 3, 4 pillows of mine. I'm a sucker for a pillow now. She got her little throws over there. This a nice little bed. I like that. I like the whole little setup. A little nightstand. She got her little flowers right there. She got her little indoor window panes. Okay, floor rug. Ooh. Somebody set this up real nice with the little ferns on the side. Somebody set this up real nice for them pillows. That commercial setup. Ooh. Oh, ooh. See how they see? Look, look, look. Ooh, drapes. Mm. I like that rustic, um, washed wood, whatever you want to call it. Oh, that um, what is that called? That wall? What is that called? Look how they got the pillars lined up over there like that. Is that the same room that we was in the first time? The bed is different. Oh, look at the drapes, the green decor. Okay, iPhone 17. We nosy. We nosy. I like that little headboard type ish. That little wood. What's that wood called when it's pre-washed? It's something with a pre. Um, it's something. It's a word for it. Like whatever. Anyway, it's nice. Come on, she ain't drinking shit. Ooh, we got a chair. We got a chair on the side with the throw. Okay, blanket. Okay. Well, you right, because you can't sleep on it. It's really just for like back support against the headboard. You're right. You're right. You're right. Because I was like, you ain't even using it. Technically, she could if she lean it that way. If she lean the top part that way, it'd be great for like a shoulder. Let me let it finish, cause them pillows are. Oh, we got coasters. We had a coaster over there. Uh-oh, look like we got a dresser. Uh-oh, we got some company. Oh, oh, okay. The headboard has just changed, and now we got like a little spot up here. Oh, we got some random stuff going on over here in the corner. These little panels, whatever these called. They look like studs, but they not. We know. Okay, drapes. Okay, window. Okay, I like the little green, the greenery, the plants. They might be fake plants. She look real, but everybody else look like they just dry plants. Move this out the way. I can't even see. We got like a little duvet. We got some little blankets and stuff. He got a book. She got a drink. And then we got the pillows right here. We got two lamps. Wait. Nope, one lamp. And then, okay. And then she got a mug right here. And then I think these might be coasters. I don't know. I can't like. And then we got nightstand, dresser, the chair, the rug. Ooh, ooh, half on, half off. We got like a little basket over there with. Oh, they decorated this thing nice. There go the other lamp right there. There go the other lamp. I don't know what that is. Is that a little clock or something? And then we got like some little books and stuff over here. Oh, it's giving. It's giving. I spent some money on this commercial with these $250 pillows for the large. Oh, different room. Okay, potted plants, potted plants, potted plants. Who was that over there? Little cubby. Is that a quote? A picture? Okay, so now the background is white. The I don't know what those are called. Like it's the walls, the wall texture, whatever it is. Okay, we got a rug. Okay, the floor looks different. We got potted plants. Okay, the gray, blue, turquoise, fuchsia, mustard yellow. We still got the same throw blankets. Are y'all washing these blankets? Because there's been a lot of people using them. Let me
has posted images of himself as a king, I think half a dozen
and
times
Jesus. He not only posted himself as the king, he did post himself as Jesus too.
now. Like, when are we? When are people going to go and go? Okay, like, but that's what you want. And by the way, if that's what you want, then you know what? I know that there is the vast majority of Americans, but some that are really going to really have a problem.
Yeah.
Really have.
And
And
I
I,
guess.
and this whole thing is that I we now they do have an enormous amount of power. One of the things that I always about is that it's so easy to silence people, but it would be particularly easy, for instance, to go like if someone like the whole cocaine in the White House thing.
Right.
By the way, I look at your memories. Is that like you can believe whatever you want to believe, but I know my truth,
Okay.
and that's all I can do.
And you prefer crack anyways.
By the way, I would not have forgotten it in a cubby. Not if you're calling on the route, which I've never been in before. Okay.
Oh, nice.
But my point is that what if what if I'm flying back to LA and or when I go to security and they find drugs in my bag?
Right.
Who would believe me
Oh,
that I'm so clean and sober? Who would possibly believe me?
right.
No one. No one. No one. And I could take drug tests and I could prove it and I could, I mean, literally, I I pack my bag in front of a witness everywhere I go, so that at least I would be able to say that.
Mm,
Here's the crazy part: is the idea that I would think that there is a government in power capable of doing that.
Mm, mm,
It says everything anyone needs to know where we
mm,
are. Yeah. The idea that you feel unsafe in the United States of America because you disagree with the current administration on a issue that 70% of Americans agree with you on. Like, if you're tired,
70. Yeah, 82. Mm. Okay, eyebrows. Mm-mm. Does it have smart autofocus? Does it have blue light filter on it?
I think we all
That's all that matters.
need to stop the wholesale murder of a population in Gaza.
Uh-oh.
Whatever you think about my father's
Political.
policy as it relates,
Sure.
I always say to people, one thing he didn't do? He didn't greenlight to turn Gaza into a golf course
Ooh.
with the maitre d being Jared Kushner,
Ooh.
with $4 billion in Saudi money.
Ooh.
Despicable. It's just like they did the deal before. I mean, when he posted that, I'll never forget that. Posted the Trump, like, here's what Gaza could be, and like I could have anyone in a building, and I was like,
Yeah, that was so
it's like,
terrifying. Like, oh, look, y'all, what we finna get ready to do over here. We like, wait a minute, what the hell?
and like you're literally saying this is all going to be fine because we're going to get up a Trump resort or something.
Right.
Positively despicable. I mean, just positively despicable, tasteless, indefensible. Yes, Jared, it wasn't a joke. That is the deal. Literally, and by the way, they're doing it out in the open. I mean,
Right.
it's not as if they're fighting it in any way. I mean, they are making deals as they go through. Like I always say to people, it's like you had such a problem with me. I didn't do any. I'll take the paintings. I didn't do a single business. Every single person that bought a painting from me during the time my dad was there in office. I had two shows and probably sold a total of 20 paintings and 13 of them to my best friend. You know?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it. And you had a problem, not you. Well, you too, but had a problem with me as being this emblematic emblem of corruption. These guys, okay,
Right.
Tommy Jr. got the single largest loan guarantee from the Department of Defense ever handed out.
Wow.
$1 million for an energy company, a fusion energy company, of which he has zero experience in. They have gotten Jared Kushner, who's never run a private equity fund, has now a $4 billion private equity fund with 80% of the money coming from the Middle East, of which he continues to raise as he is the ambassador at large on behalf of the Trump administration, not as a political appointee, but simply as the son-in-law of the president,
Bingo.
to come to a peace deal of a war in Iran that they started.
Mm.
It's cost the economy billions and billions of dollars.
Mm.
Nobody wanted that every president before him, was pressured by the Israelis to get into. And every single one, regardless what you think of them, from Jimmy Carter
Ooh.
through President Reagan,
Ooh.
both of the Bushes, through Clinton, through my dad,
Ooh.
said, "You're out of your damn minds."
Ooh.
Here's the reason why.
Stop cussing.
Who benefits right now? You know, who
Mm-mm.
benefits? The people that are making trades of
Yep.
billions of dollars on market manipulation that occurs.
Salad trading.
You will not get to speak out of me. Like, I am so far off the country.
Oh, no, by the way, and I'm not even saying it.
Like, it's embarrassing. But it is embarrassing. It is embarrassing because as the answer to corruption,
Bingo.
be this outsider.
Hey, exactly. Womp womp.
So it's like I don't know what it is about that swamp, but you get swimming in it, and it's like people do this. And yes, it has been for Israel. Not to say that Trump wasn't pro-Israel. Most presidents actually are pro-Israel when they go in there, and if they go anti-Israel, they kind of end up dead. But it's or they sort of get kicked out. When I talk about Nixon and the scandal of Watergate, which I revisited and did think that that had a lot more to do with his shifting viewpoints, but uh, that wasn't the issue. Pro-Israel, generally speaking, not very educated about the topic. It's this level of corruption that you're talking about when you are willing to let real Americans be harmed, their day-to-day lives be harmed. They're suffering at the gas pump. Their groceries are expensive. All at the so that you could further enrich. How much more money does Trump really need? I just like literally how much more money you're going to allow this to happen. Don't you just want to have now the legacy of being a good president? I mean, this is
Yeah, well, I'd say I like the cryptocurrency. I think it's incredible promise in cryptocurrency. I believe in the meme token. I'll do something one day to create a community, and there's really good reasons to do it. There's really interesting ways, and I know people disagree. I just happen to be kind of like a
crypto guy.
crypto. I mean, just because of my understanding. I think it is incredible freedom in a world in which we've been controlled by banks. So
Wow.
the same problem that I have with big pharma banks and the Fed and these like where does money come from kind of thing, is it like I truly believe in Satoshi, kind of the manifesto. That just regardless.
Wow.
My point is that they had such an opportunity. They had such an opportunity. I'll give you this. I want you to look at the conspiracy theories. Go look up Gal Luft and Alexander Smirnov. They're two principal individuals that made the only claim that people hung their hat in Congress and elsewhere as it relates to my dad and corruption, bribery. One of them is a fugitive from justice wanted by Interpol and the United States government, Gal Luft, who is a former IDF officer who is believed to be living in Israel as a fugitive locate. And the other one is Alexander Smirnov, who is a known Israeli intelligence agent. Those are the two people who was in a prison in the United States, so serving 6 years, and they can't find him. Bureau of Prisons can't find him in his prison, in the prison. He is on furlough, but no one knows where he's been furloughed to. The only passport that he has is an Israeli passport. There are forces that I used to say, "Oh, this is bullshit." Have you ever the Devil's Chessboard?
Yes, Alan Bell is looking into the CIA. I read this book, Chaos, that then led me to Devil's Chessboard. It's actually on our list for books to read for the book club.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it'll knock you. Hey,
Okay. Well, hold on. Let me. David Talbot. Not .gov. That's funny. 4.3 is not bad. The World Fat Book. Is this the book? Oh no, this is the. Okay, this is just a review. Um, let me go back. I was trying to see if Thrift Books had it. I'm pretty sure she did. Hold on. Let me go to Thrift Books real quick and see. I can log in and add it to my hold on, give me a second because I gotta log in information. Uppercase. Remember when the first time I met you? She got it. That's good. That'll work.
CIA, the Manson stuff, that was the one that knocked me, and I was like, "What the heck is our government? What is going on?" Yeah.
Realize that anyway.
What the CIA is capable of, and you think it's all a conspiracy. And I think that's what they're fearful of, is that people have awakened to that. And so when they're kind of trying to throw red meat now, which you see them doing, the left, the right, it's just not landing anymore because we just realize that.
By the way, that's where the left. You think I'm going to defend the the DC elite of the left? See, they crushed my dad. They when they saw their chance, they did everything in their power to push him out. You know why? Because he was never part of that club. Never part. He lived in Delaware.
Mm.
You can think whatever you want about my dad. Is that literally my dad never bought a stock or a bond because he made a commitment in 1972 when he was 30 years old after Watergate never to own a stock or a bond.
What actually makes rollout is just turning on a new system to send that danger.
And he did.
So what happened?
My dad was the poorest person ever to enter the presidency, and the poorest person, not poorest. I mean, he had money. He written a book and he done well, but he had the least amount of wealth entering the presidency in modern years and since 1900 than anybody. And when he was in the United States Senate, he was not only the poorest man in the Senate, not poor again. He made over $170,000 in average over the course of 45 years, but of not just the Senate, but 535 members of Congress. He was never a part of that club, and and that's what I wish you knew. That's what I wish you knew.
Mm,
And I'm here anyway to defend the DC elites of my
mm,
country. I think that they're just as complicit in all this bullshit.
No, that question with Nancy Pelosi. What's your opinion on Kamala then? Do
Kamala.
you like her?
Look, I
You did
Her name is Kamala.
definitely.
no, you know what I did.
Look, look,
I
look.
don't want to say anything. I don't. I didn't know the vice president that well.
Okay.
You know, I mean, and and she was always nice to me personally, and so that was my but I didn't have the other thing that people think that I was like living at the White House. I literally didn't leave my home because it was really hard to leave. I stayed, in the hill that I lived on until the fires came. Uh, that's where I was. I was with Bo and Melissa, and trying to make it through, and not trying to make it through, thriving, making it through what would otherwise have seemed like a horrible, horrible life from any outsider's perspective. So I'm not judging the question, but I don't want to the vice president because I have no reason to necessarily.
That she did nothing personal to you. She was nice to you.
Never did anything personal to me. I
Yeah.
think that she is, yeah. So
Kind
I
of
really don't know.
machine stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't. In terms of all of that stuff, I think it's tough enough to realize that that's part of like when you get to politics at that level, people kind of, I think, have this misperception of me is that for 50 years I was a crack addict and I was that picture.
Mhm.
I mean, I went to Yale Law School. You know, I served in the Clinton administration. I was chairman of the board of USUN World Food Program, which is the largest humanitarian organization in the world. I served on 16 boards before I ever joined the board for ISMA or anything. I taught at Georgetown I was, taught at the master's program at the School of Food Service for 4 years.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. And
That was something that surprised me too, not to be rude, but I thought you were dumb
yeah,
because I don't know, maybe in the game with you. Here we go, just like rich political kids. Like, I mean, she's just so dumb, and yet she's just always here. Like they're just giving her stuff, and so I think there's also that perception where it's their
by the way,
kids don't
I,
work smart. And so I was kind of expecting you to be sort of a Megan Payne,
yeah.
and then when I watched it, I was like, oh wait, he has brain cells, which is wildly remarkable that you didn't kill them all off when you were on crack.
I think they got pickled all the vodka.
Here's some of the things I just thought I was like, this is interesting. He's not a total idiot. So there are the stereotypes of rich kids who
Right.
just keep getting handed all of these awards in life.
I say to everybody is that if there's anybody in the history of America that benefits from low expectations, it's me. People are like, oh my god, like you aren't. You're not a complete moron.
Right.
Haven't pulled out of your crap yet. It's really crazy. But that gives you an idea, by the way, of the level to which I was muted
Mm,
because they didn't want. And you have
mm,
to subvert yourself to a machine to a certain degree. And like it wasn't up to me if I wanted to go out and like rail at the machine or rail at, go on and argue with Jake Tapper,
Because it would have been
yeah, because then I become even more of a story. But you give up your voice in that way,
mm,
and it's incredibly emasculating. And particularly when um, the portrait that is being painted of you as a near do well that never did anything in their life, like like you want to talk about experience? Go look at my goddamn resume. I
mm-mm.
have 10 times more experience in 10 times more things. And I know I am 10 times more well read than either one of the Trump boys, regardless of what you think about it. All I said, I'm not a great shot, and I don't know anything about real estate. And I don't know anything about making money. And that's why I'm about, a few million dollars in debt. And I don't. And I need to change that one around. It's 26. But
Right.
the portrait that was painted on me has given me this incredible gift so that I can walk into your house, into your studio, and I guarantee that
my
people afterwards are going to go, I still think he's, oh my God, he's not, you know what? Like, can you believe it? He didn't go do lines in the bathroom.
no, that was my reaction when I watched Andrew Callan, but I was like, wow, he's actually thought through his addiction. He's talking about the ritual. Like this guy's not an idiot, and
Yeah.
you're right. I guess you do benefit from having exceedingly low expectations, but it was sort of like you said the first time you spoke, and of course you did sort of have to be quiet because otherwise you would definitely your father and there's a machine that's kind of bigger than you that you have to submit yourself to.
You could tell that I even went back. My dad just said, honey, that was really beautiful parts of it. Did you have to use the F word that much?
Exactly. He was cussing
coming from you. Yeah.
Ooh,
The, the thing about my dad though is he at least from the different today, he never talked to us that around my mom or but anyway, so I'm trying to hurt the F word or for my mom and dad. All right, you guys, summertime expenses in 2020.
this is why I love watching Hunter. Like once he got out of under, like he said, the machine of whatever goes on in DC when you or anyone that you're closest to is serving as a political figures such as the president. So glad that he talking to us. We needed him. I didn't even know that we needed him to talk to us, but when I seen that interview with Andrew Kelly, I was like, "Oh my goodness." And then Andrew doubled back with the letter from Melania. She said, "If you don't recant what you said, she gonna sue, she's gonna sue you." What did Hunter say? God, what he said, it was so funny.
By the way,
I think he said "L her" or something like that.
when your mother died in a car accident.
Just about I was a month away from three, but I was a month away from four. My sister passed me. It was about 18 months, and who my old daughter's named after Naomi, uh, and yeah,
Do you have any memory of her?
yeah. It's a I don't know for certain whether the things that I have, which I believe are memories, are memory, because it would be very rare at that age. I have distinct memories of my mom carrying us around in picnic basket, and and I even have a distinct memory of the car, not the accident of the car. Um, yeah, this is the
Picnic basket. I mean, it's fine. She got okay, it's fine.
yeah, but I don't know if it's because I've been you know so steeped in stories. The
Right.
beautiful part, like everything, there's a. Have you ever read any of the Gnostic Gospels?
No.
You really should because I know you're. Uh, you- I've listened to you talk about Gnosticism in your faith.
And I'm like a toddler in the faith, and there's so much. It's like so rich.
So it's really cool. There's the one of the things that uh, I've always been a student of because when I first went to Georgetown, the two closest people after I got Georgetown were two Jesuit priests. One was named Ted Disiak, and another one was Bill Watson. And both Father Watson and Father Disiak led me into this idea of service. I started a thing called the Jesuit International Volunteers with Father Watson. I mean, excuse me, Father Disiak, and then I went to the DC because of Father Watson, which is like domestic Peace Corps, and I did that a year. And then when I opened up my own law firm, my all my clients were Jesuit universities because I was friends with presidents of universities that were just like 5 or 6 years older than me. They were now becoming presidents of St. Joe's, and Granton, and Loyola, and all these Jesuit universities, Detroit Mercy, and but anyway, the Gnostic Gospels were they were found in Naj Hammadi, and they were written in the period between Christ's death and the first 2 centuries. And there's the Gospel of Thomas, Gospel of Philip, and Constantine. I know it's boring.
No, I'm very interested.
Um, uh, Emperor Constantine converted to Christianity,
And
but what he did, and really what it was about, was not a true transformation of faith. It was a way to consolidate power. So he made the Christian bishops who were 200 years into the very very early church. He made the Christian bishops his lieutenants and enforcers as it related to the religion, so that he can control the more radical elements of it. And so that is when they came to an adoption of just four gospels. And there's all of these other writings that became that you could get excommunicated for promoting. That is really beautiful portraits, like the Gospel of Mary Magdalene and Jesus's relationship with Mary Magdalene. But anyway, it's not a gospel, but it is one of the texts. I think it's called the Acts of John. There is a thing that Christ says, and he says, I'm paraphrasing, you must learn to suffer as I do in order to be able not to suffer. And that is the greatest lesson of everything. is not having gratitude for all the good things in my life, but
Right.
having immense gratitude for all of my life. Like I wouldn't be here.
Mm.
We can have this honest conversation. I couldn't get to know you as a human being if every single thing didn't occur behind it. I would not
Mm.
feel this gift of being alive on a daily basis the way that I do
Mm.
if I hadn't overcome committing suicide dozens of times in motel rooms, in places that I could never afford to be found dead.
Wow.
You know, it's that piece of life
Right.
that, like, the only way I got it is when they just tore off all my clothes, tarred and feathered me, and put me in the center of town and said, "Look at him."
Mm.
And I survived. When you survive that,
Right.
you kind of go, "What am I going to do with my life?" The number one
Mm.
thing I want to do with my life is number one, take care of me.
Yeah.
You take care of
I
me.
feel like I have to say, like, I'm really sorry that I contribute to that. Like, I just feel like I feel guilty because, like, hearing you talk about, I mean, basically having the worst moments of your life. Like, I always speak about on my show how a lot of these kids growing up aren't going to even know what it was like before social media, where you could just make a mistake and like have that be over. Got to grow up, and now it's like they're digging and they're finding people's tweets from when they're 17. They're an idiot. They wrote the N word once, and they like want to hang them when they're 40. And I just I just saw you as a caricature, and it was definitely, like I said, like feeling gaslit by the political machine, convinced that it was just the left that partook in this political machine. And I just like really want to say, like, genuinely, like, I'm so sorry that I just didn't even consider he's a crackhead, and like, like, that's actually a very relatable thing, and he should be.
Dude, so cool
That
now.
is just unbelievable to consider every worst thing you've ever done.
I am, like I told you before we started, I cry very easily.
But I do. I just feel like it's not who I want to be, and I think
Yeah.
I've come a long way from that in general. And like, but I did partake in just the inhumanity of just look at this guy at the worst moment of his life, like with prostitutes, he's been crack, he's been drugs, and we should make fun of him because it makes us feel good,
Mhm.
or it makes us feel like we're somehow beating the machine, and that's, I think, worked.
Mhm.
Think about it today. I'm just like, wow,
You,
it's so gross that I partook.
you have so much, and I mean this in a good way, so much power because I think that your audience absolutely trusts you.
Yes.
And the reason that they trust you is because you've shown an enormous amount of courage of speaking your mind,
Yes.
particularly as it related to someone that you love like a brother. And everything that has transpired since then. A immediate rejection of power and an immediate rejection of and knowing that you're just going to get the shit beat out of you. And for you to say that to me, I truly mean it. Just from a purely selfish point of view, means the world.
Mm.
Um, and
No one
and
deserves
that
that.
and I didn't. I truly come here for that. I came here because you know what? I ask forgiveness every day,
Mm.
um, without any expectation that I will be forgiven. But I know the people that I hurt, and and I still do, and I'm not remotely perfect, and I still screw up.
It's at this moment. Listen, it's at this moment. Did I not say that he needs to be over there on Software Underbelly earlier in this interview? It's at this moment when Mark, you don't see him. You just see a hand come from behind just like this. If you've ever watched a Software Underbelly video, child, Mark be so certified with that tissue. That's the first thing that popped into my head. I'm like, somebody finna go, Mark finna come with that tissue. Here you go.
Yeah, and but
Shit.
God, if we could have this conversation and genuinely, authentically believe that, like I think just opens the door for and a few other people without being,
Exactly. Facts.
many other people.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's
yeah,
a minute too. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
there's nothing else. Yeah.
Going crazy with the commercials, ain't they? Last 10 minutes of the interview. They running it up.
We butt naked up with a crack pipe. So I mean, there's I survived it. Have it. It allows you to kind of return to who you are because it's
Yeah.
addiction is
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish it. I always say, like, people growing up and seeing my son to families and seeing a lot of stuff when I was younger, like, really made me like, and I'm like, wow, I can't even imagine.
Maggie, you could talk about it. You could have openly talked about it, and the person that you were
Right.
confronting or doing it is like, we're able to say, like this is, it's like we got to do something about this. Come on, everybody, let's do.
Right.
I want to start an aftercare program for people for free because the biggest thing that happens is people go to detox and they go to recovery center or rehab and they get out after 30 days and they got nowhere to go. And so one of the things that I'm trying to do is start a
Leave
rehab
that eye
program.
alone or it's gonna be itching.
If I could do that, I've worked with an organization called Boston Universal. I'm a development director there, and they do tenants' rights and uh, and homeless prevention. Like I know what we all can agree on. We can all agree on that that people can't afford to pay the rent and they'd be able to figure out a way to stay in their houses before it becomes a mother with three kids that are homeless. We know where that leads. But these kinds of what I want to use, what I'm doing, what like I want to do that. I also want to make a living. I also want to be able to pay my debt. I also want to be able to do things that I have. I also
Dreams.
want to make art. I started finally and like what, I'm going to put all my art on my website and people decide what to buy it. And
Right.
because I don't really believe art becomes art until you share it with somebody. I mean, like until there's an observer of it. So
Oh,
I can sit in my studio, which is like a garage.
it's garage. Yes, we've seen it,
I want, I want to be
Andrew.
able to talk to you. I
Oh,
want to be able to talk to the people. I want to talk to like that family, necessary conversation, and say like, the stories your daughter tells you about the way that you adopted animals really moves me. The fact that you think I'm the spawn of the devil, I, I, we maybe have a discussion about it. You know,
It's caricature,
yeah.
and I have a caricature of me that's been built up for years. So I should have been more empathetic to it, honestly. But it's when you're in it, you kind of don't really know.
Well, not only in it is that you're in it to win it, and when everything is put in a political lens and life or death, and you know, if we lose this election, this is over. And now I will tell you this is that we've never had somebody that is, you know,
correct.
uh, opposed staying longer than they're supposed to. But is that I think that we all have a tendency to look at the time that we live in and say that it's worse than ever, absolutely worse. And the fact of the matter is if you know your history, is that like this is a cycle. Um,
Mm,
uh, there will always be really bad people. We will always be disappointed in the end with leadership. We will always. It doesn't mean that we need to accept it. It doesn't mean that we don't need to fight against it. It doesn't mean that sometimes really good people make the wrong choice. Um, uh, but what it does mean is that I have absolute hope. I really truly still believe in America, even with all of the all of its faults. I mean, even after reading The Devil Chessboard, like you read that and you go like,
What is
and that's
this?
not about Democrats and that's not about Republicans.
right.
You go back to Reconstruction, you go back to Andrew Johnson, you go back to like the fact that the United States of America has not been truly the United States of America until 1964 at best,
Mm,
and this whole thing. But I still really believe in the illusion, and the thing that makes me so mad is they have completely torn away that illusion, and people feel hopeless. They feel like there's no chance of changing it. Okay, they gave this guy the reins to do it, and he was the one who's going to blow everything up and make it better. And they're kind of like, wait a second, what happened to Charlie? Wait a second, why are we at war again? You know,
I think this is actually the most important question, and I will make this my final question I want to ask you. But I'm really interested about your faith life. You're Catholic, you're raised Catholic, went to
I
Catholic
am.
school, and like, is your talking to me about the Gnostic Gospel?
Let's you and I go see the Pope together.
Let's do that.
Seriously,
I think he's a little mad in America right now.
no, but you and I.
He's been. I was tweeted the same
Yeah.
day as the Pope, by the way, by Trump. When he said bad things on me.
Wait, let's go to the Vatican.
I would love to. I would
This
love
is the
to.
coolest place in the world. I love.
I just got back from Italy. I was there
Oh,
2 weeks ago. Yeah, I did my confirmation.
Oh, you did.
I did. It was just the most
Oh,
beautiful,
that's so cool.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was literally the same day that Trump posted the Time most vile person of the year. So I felt like there was even in that there was something divine because it was like with fake power and then the real power of like having a cardinal getting confirmed, being in Italy, the deep history, like what outlasts that. Like there was something so fickle about it. Like posting this photo of me when I was sick. Okay, great.
Wait, hold on.
Talk about humiliating people for sport.
Somebody literally said this to me before I came to you. They knew that I was going to talk to you. I promise you, I did not plan to do
No,
this.
you're so fine.
It's a Correct. If you are wise and understand God's ways, prove it by living an honorable life. Do good works with the humility that comes from wisdom. But if you are bitterly jealous and there is selfish ambition in your heart, don't cover up the truth with boasting and lying. For jealousy and selfishness are not God's kind of wisdom. Such things are earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. But wherever there is jealousy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder and evil of every kind.
Ooh.
The whole first piece
Mm.
of that we were just talking is really
Right.
my faith. If you are wise and understand God's ways, prove it by living an honorable life. And the thing that I recognized is that, oh, from Mother Teresa, I don't go to mass as much as I used to. Grew up going to mass every Sunday. I would never would miss a mass. I went to Georgetown. I Catholic. Is that my real faith is in that belief? Is that just do the next right thing? That's it. Whether it's the golden rule
I want
and
to.
to be weak in your empathy, but always be compassionate. I believe in the perennial philosophy. I believe the same exact message from the Upanishads to this has been in my luggage for
Okay, we got like 2 minutes left. They are 5 minutes left.
the Gospels of Jesus Christ are all at base in terms of the red letter words of each of them are saying the same thing. Love your neighbor like you would want to be loved. And it's the hardest thing in the world to do. It's so hard. But that's my faith. And and I think that there are certain people that arrive at certain times that are messengers of that. And uh, for instance, I certainly don't agree with the Catholic Church on a lot of stuff. I certainly have a but I tell you what, I really am so proud of Pope Francis and now Pope Leo in terms of just the notion of social justice. And I think that there can be a practical application of that in terms of our leadership. I really do. I think that faith that is used as a cudgel is really, really dangerous. I think that um, I know a lot of people that I personally love and very close to that are particularly in the African American community, but that are horrified by the complicity of a certain section of the evangelical church and what's happening in the world today. So to me, my faith is very personal, rooted in uh, it's rooted in Catholicism, uh, and it's rooted in the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit church in particular, which they used to always call the Black Pope until we finally got a Jesuit Pope. Oh, and with the eyes wide open too, that the church is as an institution is incredibly flawed and had been, but it gave me an enormous sense of community and belonging just from a culture.
Well, what I'm gonna say is I really think you should go to confession.
Yeah.
You should do that.
Oh, I don't worry. I've been to confession.
Yeah, you should go to and
Uh,
it's yeah, and just just
Don't worry.
go back to the roots. Go back and it's there's so much there, and it's like you're not you're just not enough. Your brain's not enough. I mean, hearing you describe that, I can do this. That there's just something about for me like the submission at just every at mass and just remembering like
Beautiful.
uh,
Beautiful
love.
thing is this. The beautiful thing is that I have been going to confession for 6 years.
Wow.
I
Right.
that freedom. When feel like the only person that you could say this to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that it is not like my impure thoughts that I'm,
Right.
between me and God. But what
Right.
I'm saying is that feeling of release that the confessional
Right.
is there for is the feeling that when I was finally able to see beyond all of the
Mm.
noise
Mm.
by just existing and
Mm.
getting up every day,
Oh.
looking, turning over, and seeing that my wife who saved me
Oh.
and Bowie and my dad as a dad, not present, but just as a dad, and my mom and sister and my aunts, uncles, and everybody else, and then the wider circle, my friend George, my friend Franny, like people that came into my life,
You giving shout
who never
outs?
left, despite it all. There was nothing in it for them, but just grief and ridicule. Pretty cool.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Well,
Ladies Hunter Biden never thought this conversation would happen. It just stranger things have happened, and I'm just this has truly been one of the most powerful questions I've ever had.
Yes.
You know, you would lost your mother, your sister in a tragic accident. You lost your brother, to cancer. You maybe for a while lost your dad in politics, the political machine. Lost yourself to crack cocaine. And somehow,
Again,
yeah, it's all that.
yeah, I really did. I can't tell you how much it means to me that that you would invite me here into your home to be able to have this discussion. Um, and I really, really mean it. I'm really, really honored.
And I'm grateful that you took it and that you've accepted my apology because I just feel really shitty about it. But guilt is good, like we said earlier. Thank you so much for joining us. Amazing.
Oh my God. That was so refreshing. I needed that. I so needed that. And I'm so proud of Hunter. Every time I hear him, I'm just always so proud of him. Um, it just, but in the meantime, in between time, see you guys Sunday. Love you. Bye.